Hi, and welcome to School of Addiction. My name is Ashley, and this night's episode is called Self Discovery in Recovery. So, my name's Ashley. I'm a addictions counsellor, but I'm also a trauma and childhood therapist. I've worked with a lot of things. I've also overcame addiction. That's the main thing here that makes us qualified to be talking to you people. I've also studied it up to PhD level, and I've also experienced what it's like to have loved ones struggling with addiction. So, full 360 view. So, tonight, self recovery, I've said it wrong again, self discovery in recovery. So, one of the things that I kept focusing on, like everything in life, is the end goal. I need to be recovery. I need to not be an addict. I need to be recovery. I need to be recovered. I need to not be an addict. And I've done it in so many different points in my life. It's always end goal. And as humans, we're very like that. We're always striving for the end. And we start to, I don't want to say enjoy the process because it doesn't feel very enjoyable at the time, but we start to just we don't sit there and take stock of all the things that we're doing. And the thing is, when we achieve a goal, there's always another goal. So what I want you to do is, instead of calling it recovery, call it self-discovery, because it's a process of not just stopping the addiction, but also learning about yourself, learning why I've got the addiction in the first place, what purpose is the addiction serving, what's going so catastrophically wrong in my life that addiction feels like a better solution to not being addicted. You know, there's a lot of things to discover. I mean, we need to ask ourselves, why are we sitting here doing something we hate day in, day out? Like, there's clearly something not right underneath it all. So it's about self-discovery. And it really is a process. There's a lot of people who come on here day in, day out, who are in recovery, and I ask everyone, what's the tips that you would say to other people who are struggling in an addiction? And nearly everyone just says, like, around the same thing of learning to love yourself, dealing with the pain, learning better ways to just enjoy your life. It's the same story in recovery, because we need to accept the fact that if we've got an addiction, like me, I had a ketamine addiction, there must be something chronically wrong in my life, in my mindset, in the way I view myself, that I think that sitting there sniffing ket, even though I hate it, is a better life than another one. So yeah, it's self-discovery. I'm going to keep going back to the topic, but I'm just going to pop through the comments, say hi to people. Hi, Scarphelia, how you doing? I know you told us your name. I think you told us your name, Scarphelia, but I can't remember what it was. Sorry about that. Cable, I'm proud of you for working hard to be where you are now. Thank you. Me too. Me too. It wasn't bloody easy, but yeah, we got there. We're getting there. Hi, Guy. How you doing? Thanks for joining. You've been on both lives. Thank you. Guy's my moderator. He's brilliant. Hey, I was going to call you nobody, but it's 8. I'm just going to call you no. I don't want to call someone nobody, and it doesn't say that anyway, so we're just going to call you no. N-O. Hi, how you doing? Lee, I thought it was Lee. That came to my mind, but then I've been speaking to loads of people about one-to-ones and stuff, and I thought I don't want to say it wrong. Cable. I've had a hard last few years myself, but I'm doing a lot better now thanks to hard work and the desire to do better. 100%. That's exactly what's happened with me. I think you've got to go through the shit. You know, it's going through any kind of healing journey, mental health, addiction, whatever it is, like, it's not fun all the time. It's hardcore. It's not for the faint-hearted, but it's also not something that you don't have to be at the top of the mountain. You just need to take one step up that mountain, and there's just as much good as there is bad. And I think it's about focusing on the wins and giving yourself grace when you're not quite getting it right. But yeah, I think, like Cable's saying, you have to go through a lot of feeling like shit, because in addiction, we rack up a lot of stuff to feel shit about. And before the addiction, there was probably a lot of stuff to feel shit about, or we wouldn't be an addict. It just wouldn't, we wouldn't be. People who live in happy, fulfilled lives don't want to sit there just under the influence, hating the fact that they're, like me, a ket addict or whatever your addiction is. So yeah, I'm glad you said that, Cable. Lightning showers. Hi, how you doing? Cable saying facts, lol, it is. It's all right to lol at it at the end, but yeah. Oh, thanks, Guy, for putting a comment up. So Guy's saying, if you want support from me, please comment on her video so she can contact you. And I'm just going to pin that. So yeah, if I don't get through your comments, or if you wanting some one-to-one or some kind of support, it's all free what I'm doing. I'm not charging anyone. Yeah, just comment on any of my content. By the way, guys, I've hit 1,000 subscribers today. So thank you for everyone who's subscribed. I really appreciate that. And I'm a quarter of the way through my watch hours to start making money off YouTube. I want to make money off YouTube so I can help people for free. Then we're all winning. Except for YouTube, but screw YouTube. They'll be winning off ads. Right. Let's have a look. Hi, Fortigo, how you doing? I've got some mods on. Hi, Chris. Chris, do you want to be a mod, by the way? I feel like you should be. So me and Chris are coming up with a cool idea, which I'm not going to tell you the ins and outs of because we're still hashing it out. But it's about doing Strava, a School of Addiction Strava. And we're putting our heads together. It's going to be really cool. Right, let's see what B3's saying. Hey, I broke up with my girl and realised I was dreaming because I'm single. Are you joking? Or I don't get that. I'm too autistic. I'm too autistic for that. Cable, 4.5 years sober from alcohol, by the way. Oh my God, that is some achievement. I'm nearly 4 years clean off ket. Yeah, you kind of get to a certain point, don't you, where it feels like a different life. What's your top tip, Cable, that you would give anyone who's like in the trenches at the moment? Something, it can be like an actual tip, a trick, or it can be something more broad. Yeah, Chris is going to be me another mod. I've got loads of mods on, mainly mods on tonight, actually. But mods are my favourite people that hear all the time, so we'll have a little mod party. Congratulations on 1,000 subs. I know, I've done it in record time as well, guys. I'm in the top 0.1 of new creators, so thank you. And that's not because of me, it's because of you lot coming back all the time and commenting and subscribing and liking, so cheers, guys. Cable, thank you, Chris. What did Chris say? Oh, it's I don't know what he said. Hi, Guy. Ashley, I met you in Norwich. Oh, Norwich. And we had a good conversation together previously to you asking me this morning. Yeah, I'm trying to think. Was it Norwich? I'm trying to think who you are. You'll have to comment to us, and can I email you? You don't have to, but my brain is like, and there's unfinished business. My autistic brain can't handle, but I'm not going to push it into something. I'm sure we did have a good conversation though. You seem wise. 865. Another Chris. Hello, how you doing? Riaz. Wonder if she's going to ignore us again today. Well, I might. It's not on purpose. If you want us to answer you, unless you've been one of the naughty boys, then you will be getting ignored. But if you want to comment and I've been ignoring you, anyone just comment on any of my content that's already posted. I get a notification and I will get back to you. Oh, it's about 12 years ago. Norwich. Oh, I'm going to have to... I can't remember. That's nothing personal, but I struggle to remember people I've spoken to a couple of weeks ago, let alone 12 years ago. That'll be playing on my brain and might come back to us. What did we talk about, dare I ask? 12 years ago. So I would have been absolutely probably off my nut. Because 12 years ago was well and truly in my drinking, taking drugs stage. 4 to go. You're a natural at streaming, to be honest, plus you provide value to people in a sea of brain rot. This is refreshing. Thank you. I appreciate that. I think as well, do you know what I really like? Everyone comes on and like helps each other out, shares the stories. It's a cool little spot on the internet. Riaz, fine, then I'm going. To Raw. You'll be missed. Not. I'm joking. Stay, go, whatever. Cable. Taking that time. Oh yeah, Cable. So ask if anyone who's just joined to ask Cable how we got to 4.5 years sober. Taking that time helps me get out of a bad headspace and reminds me that there is a lot to be thankful for. And reminds me that there is so much to look forward to. The more you do it, the easier it gets. Yeah, it does. And I think it's so hard when you're sat there just feeling like, I know that I don't like my life right now. I'm knee deep in addiction. And even if you're just in mental health or you've came out of addiction and just life shit, it's so hard to sit there and think, I know that where I'm at shit, but also I don't know how to get to somewhere good. I don't even know if I'm capable of feeling happy and content in life. Like, I don't even know what that feels like, or I wouldn't be sat in addiction, let's be real. And it's so hard, but the more you strive toward that, the easier it gets. But there is such a key component, which is you need to learn to love yourself. Like, you really do. And I know it sounds so woo-woo, but you just need to think, the only way I'm going to get out of a life that I hate is by creating a life that I love. And the only way I'm going to create a life I love is if I learn to love me. Because realistically, inside your head is where life is. We are the centre of our own universe. So yeah, it does get easier though. It really does. And now you couldn't even pay us to go back and be a kethead. Just couldn't. You know when you're not wanted, Riaz. You're always wanted here. This is a safe space for everyone. Even when you're being naughty, it's fine. We'll just crack on. You was doing or about to do your diploma. That was to be my child development diploma. So I wanted to be a teacher, guys. And the reason why I'm a counsellor is because I clicked on the wrong university, because I'm ADHD to bits. I clicked on the wrong university and had 4 universities which were all teaching degrees anywhere but Newcastle. And I clicked on the one which wasn't a teaching degree. Didn't even know what the hell I'd signed up for, because I did not want to stay in Newcastle. And then I became a counsellor because it just so happened to be counselling. Chris, Strava idea, not fully formed or thrash details out yet, but the plan is to get fit, healthier, and support and encourage rather other. Yeah, it's not fully thrashed out, but it's going to be really cool, and it's going to be ideal for people struggling with addiction. That's how, I don't really want to say your story, Chris, actually, that's yours to say. Nelly, my mouth ran faster than my brain then. Riaz. Right, I don't know, I was going to read that out, but I can't really read in emojis. Loads of faces. Bishop, hi, how are you doing, Bishop? I am good. I've just came out of hypomania, which is bipolar. I've been managing it really well. Had a hypo crash for the last couple of days, which just feels a bit, not a bit, it's bloody awful. It's like a come down from drugs, because essentially it is. So if you've got bipolar, when you're hypomanic, you're pumping loads of adrenaline, noradrenaline, cortisol. It's like a big party in my body that I don't really want to be at. It's like when you're at a session, you're like, you're into the next day and you're like, oh, this is a bit grim, but here we go. Get us another line. Why not? So it's like that, and then you've got the come down. So I've been in the come down phase. So Scarfy's saying I'm an Aussie fan. So do you like Crazy Train then? I used to be a Randy Rhoads fan when I was younger. Randy Rhoads, by the way, was Ozzy's guitarist, and he died, but he was amazing. Swiss neutral extremist. Drugs are cool, kids. I mean, I was very cool at one point, and then I was very much a drug addict, and I didn't feel so cool then. Yeah. So, but, you know, not here to judge drugs. Right, Daniel, I quit drinking and smoking 11 years ago. I never craved it again. I love that for you. What's people who's watching, who's been in an addiction, who's in the camp of still gets cravings and who's in the camp of just never gets cravings. Because me and my friend, we spoke about this, and she was a heroin addict, and she's just saying she never gets cravings. It makes her feel sick if she thinks about it. Whereas I still get the odd little, oh, wouldn't it be nice? The odd little craving here and there. But usually it's when my life's going to pot in some area that the cravings begin. Cable, congrats to you, Daniel. That's awesome. Oh, by the way, I will say, when I'm saying cravings, I don't mean the intense, horrible, I want to rip my eyeballs out my face cravings that you get in the beginning. I'm just talking about it pops in my head because something's going to shit. So I think that's my little brain. It's like, oh, might do this. But yeah, well done, Daniel. Oh, what did Daniel say now? I forgot what Daniel said. Oh, quit drinking 11 years ago, never craving again. What's your top tip then, Daniel, for people who are struggling? So I'm unsubscribing mods, absolute rockers. I'm a rocker, joking. I subscribed from the start. You can be the rocker of the group. We've got our mods, we've got our rocker. We've got a eternally secure rocker, actually, who is a mod. He's a mod and a rocker. My stepdad was a rocker. Oh, I've got, it's not really rock, but I'm like a bit Pink Floyd obsessed, guys. Got me through my darkest days of my addiction, brain damage. Out of time as well. Right, Bishop. Life is what you make it, my friend. Yeah, it is. It is, like, we're always going to have good and bad in life. It's inescapable. It really is. And it is just, you can decide where you're going to put your energy. And I'm not saying be toxically positive and just ignore the bad, but strategize with the bad, hash it out, and focus on the good as much as possible. Cable, you were destined for this, it seems. Thank you. I did actually, I'm quite spiritual. I made a moon wish. And it was a bit extreme. So I made a moon wish that I could be on a public platform helping people, more than one people counselling at one point. And within about a couple of weeks, I got sectioned and told I wasn't able to work as a counsellor anymore. And I was like, that was an extreme way of that wish coming true. But yeah, what? Be careful what you wish for, guys. 4 to go, haha, it was fate. What was fate? I can't remember what fate was. What you're talking about. If you're going to be commenting on something I've said, I need a bit of context because I'm just nattering on here and forgetting. Chris Khan, hi, how you doing? Got a few Chris's on tonight. Lee, I'm just going to call you Lee. Closest I've been in Newcastle a lifetime ago. Well, it was Middlesbrough. I went to university in Middlesbrough. It's the 6th worst borough in the UK, potentially England. I feel like it's Scotland's involved in the UK and Ireland. Okay, it's the 6th worst borough in England for drug addiction, for heroin addiction. Like, it's like a forgotten place. The buildings are falling apart. It's rough. There's no wonder that there's a lot of addiction there. Anyways, I know it's rivalry between Geordies and Smoggies. I was fitting out a Woolworths. That is a lifetime ago. I used to pinch the pick and mix when I was younger. Used to love a good pinch of the pick and mix. Hey, that is old. That was a very long time ago. I don't care about Smoggies. It literally, so in Middlesbrough in England, for those who aren't from the UK, it gets called Smoggies, but you drive into it and it's literally got like fog everywhere. Not as bad now, actually, as it used to be. Bishop, you were in my prayers. I care about you. Thank you. That's very kind. Gav, drugs are for mugs. Well, I think we're all mugs, aren't we? You don't need to take drugs to be a mug. Let's be real. But yeah, it wasn't a fun thing. It wasn't the most wise decision I've ever made. Chris, I'll spill my own tea briefly. Chronic high functioning alcohol. Discovered running. Did being a runner and an alcoholic, drank and ran. Now I'm a long distance runner and also not an alcoholic, I think is key to that. Yeah, so one of the things that Chris has talked about, which is the same as what I did, but in a very different way, different context, is we often think that we need to be, if we want to get out of addiction, it can feel like I need to stop the addiction tomorrow. But actually what's really helpful is if you stabilize yourself first. Now, I know that that's not what Chris was intending to do, but because he already was running, he had something really stable that he could lean into, which gave him endorphins, which he felt good about when he left addiction. So what mine was self-love. I was doing a lot of self-help. Every single technique I was learning in counselling, I tried and tested on myself. I thought, right, I'm going to put this to use. And that was what stabilised me. So I think physical health and mental health, stabilising them before you tackle the addiction or whilst you tackle the addiction or in early recovery can be really helpful. And what that means is, even if you're just doing running or even if you're just doing self-help stuff and learning to love yourself, you're still driving yourself toward addiction recovery. So still count that as part of your recovery. And I wish I'd done that, because I was just shaming myself without realising that every time I was doing that bit of self-help, I was actually driving myself toward addiction recovery. It was part of the process. 4 to go. Welcome everyone, glad you're all here. Feel free to say hi and share where you're watching from. Yeah, where's people watching from? And any addiction questions or mental health questions or topics that you just want to share, drop it in the comments. Mark Moosley, how are you doing? I am good. I'm feeling like myself again. I've had a rocky few weeks. Eternally Secure Rock, I was just talking about you. So somebody was talking about the mods and saying that they're the rocker of the group. I was like, you're the mod and the rocker of the group. I'm good, how you doing? You choosing therapy course instead of a teacher or being a teacher 100% was fate. And I also was going to do sign language, and it was my friend who had 2 deaf parents, well, like partially deaf parents. He was like, no offense, Ashley, but if I don't know sign language, no way are you going to be able to learn it. And then my other friend said, why don't you do the addiction module? Because you take a lot of drugs, you'll ace it. And I went on and did this addiction module, and I was like, this is what I want to do with my life. So yeah, it was fate. Because I would have been doing teaching or really shit at learning sign language. I mean, I lived in Spain for 4 summers, and the top and bottom of Spanish that I know is hola and guapa, which means pretty. Luca, how you doing? My BP girlfriend says she never felt love like this, and I gave her something she never had and felt. Oh, safety. She had sex trauma. She's also an alcoholic, but I think I can give her love needed for quality life. I love that. I love love. Yeah, I've experienced sex trauma, and it does take being with someone secure who makes you feel safe to truly work through that stuff. I've experienced that, and that's really nice that you've given that to her, because I think it's really hard when you've been scared in your own body and scared, especially if you're hetero, well, not especially, but if you're hetero, to be scared with men and then feel safe with men. So that's really nice. I will ask though, Luca, because it sounds like you've been exactly the support that anyone needs, anyone who's in addiction. Are you being able to be boundaried with yourself and protect yourself in that situation so that you're supporting, not enabling? It sounds like you are. But yeah, this is exactly, do you know what it is? Anyone with addiction or trauma is so lucky to have someone like you, Luca. And there's a really good TED Talks that I always talk about, but it's like everything we know about addiction is wrong, and it says about connections that are antidote to addiction. So yeah, I love that. The only reason, by the way, I just want to say the only reason why I'm asking about are you boundaried is because you said you think you can give us love needed. So just that I think sounds a little bit, you hope, you hope. So maybe if that's the case, we can go to talk about how to support and not slip into enabling. Guy, Ashley, if it goes to mute, press the microphone symbol on your screen to unmute. Is it muted now? By the way, please, I'm going to go to the bottom. No. Yeah, so what has been happening with my thing muting Guy is that I'd set my phone to do not disturb, and when somebody rings, it knocks the microphone off, and I've tried pressing the microphone on and off. It doesn't seem to work, but I've gone onto my settings and sorted that out now. So hopefully it'll not happen again. But yeah, everybody was watching us for about 10 minutes the other day when I was on mute. I don't even know why you stuck about, but thank you. I was rambling on. Everyone was just taking the piss in. Are we lip reading now? It was so funny. Oh, Scarfilia has seen Pink Floyd 3 times. No, I'm definitely intrigued with you. Oh, do you mean now you're definitely intrigued? Oh, I'd love to see Pink Floyd. My stepdad I watched his latest tour where, it was in a cross. The stage was in a cross. It was so political. It was so good. Yeah, I love Pink Floyd. Favorite band. Tom, how are you? Bello? Bishop, you are very welcome. That's kind. Oh, hi, Duncan. How you doing? Good evening. David. Oh, hi, Hottie. Cheers. Look, this isn't Tinder or Hinge, but thanks for the hi. Duncan, please like and subscribe. It's free and helps this awesome channel. Yes, please do. I'm going to back that. Back myself. Spiritual. Go to certain areas of Wales. It's unreal for this. What's spiritual? You're pretty. Thank you, David. Guy, lol, drugs are for mugs, mugs are for tea, so drugs are for me. My friend was like, what was the comment she said? You're not going to be everyone's cup of tea, so don't be a mug. It was a little people pleasing comment she gave his. Yeah, everyone's a fucking mug. I'm a mug. I've been a mug. Probably be a mug again. It's just a human condition. Dropping a habit is hard. It's better to swap habits. Yeah, definitely, Preston. The thing is, we're all habitual creatures. And that's the top and bottom of it. That's just the way our brains are wired up. It makes life easier for our brain to just, it's like when they say learning to ride a bike. Like, you don't have to relearn how to ride a bike. So we're habitual creatures by nature. So yeah, I definitely agree with that. It's about finding a habit where you feel like you're being productive in life. If you can find a habit where every time you do it, you feel like you're winning, you feel like you're improving somehow, that is the best habit to swap it with. So I think that's where with Chris, he was doing running, and get the habit started beforehand so you can really lean into it. For me, it was self-help. David, I have PTSD. Are you still an active PTSD? David, I know an amazing PTSD trauma therapist. She's private, but she charges a really reasonable price. And it's not multiple sessions that you need to have. You can have just a one-off session. It's something called Havening. Have a look into it, but it's phenomenal for PTSD. And I spoke before about my sexual abuse, so I had PTSD from that and PTSD from another trauma. And I'd done all the therapies, I'd done so many different things, but I was still getting PTSD flashbacks and just going into fight or flight. And it was just like immounceable, and she helped us with that. And honestly, she's worked wonders. So if that's something you're interested in, just comment on any of my content and I will send you her number. But yeah, talking about PTSD though, it's really difficult because the thing with PTSD is it's not as simple as just like changing your thought patterns. You've got to work on it somatically. So even if you don't want to have the one-to-one therapy with them, if you haven't read The Body Keeps the Score, read it. It's amazing. Basil van der Kolk, he's an absolute leader in the field, and so is Peter Levine. So if you're not into reading, you can watch any of the podcasts they've been on. There's loads of stuff. The real cowboy, not just a pretend cowboy. We've got the real deal on School of Addiction right now. Right, how are you doing, the real cowboy? I subscribed, and now I plan on providing you and your audience with a one-of-a-kind experience and interactions. I'm the most consistent and dominant puppet celebrity, and everyone shall know my love. I don't know what that means. I don't. Can you? Honestly, I don't get half the comments on this channel, mate. I don't know if you're being sarcastic or if you're a real puppet. I don't know. Elaborate, please. Chris, stabilisation. I got literally everything else in order first, then tackling the alcoholism was the only negative thing left to tackle, which made focusing quitting easier. There's no better way to tackle it than what Chris has just said there. And that's exactly what I did. I just didn't realise that's what I was doing. Yeah, the thing with... I've wrote about this in my book. And, I finished the first draft of the manuscript this week, which I did say the other day, but I love a good brag. When we've hit goals, it's always fun. But one of the things that I've described it as is, if you think about addiction as you've got this, like, you're spinning a plate and life is a plate, and the addiction's the little... I explained it better than this, guys, by the way, when I wrote it. But you imagine the addiction's the pole. If you take the addiction away, the plate's just going to smash to the floor. So the idea is to build up a stable table for the plate to go on around the addiction. So this is exactly what I did and what Chris is saying. If you're struggling in active addiction, and you can't stop, instead of focusing on not stopping, focus on harm reduction. Like, I'm not saying go crazy, focus on harm reduction, absolutely engage in the services, but also to stabilise yourself, work on your physical health, like running like Chris did, but also what you eat, your sleep. Work on your connections with others. Make sure all the connections in your life are solid. That might be taking a look at how you're showing up in the current relationships you've got, seeing about if you've got relationships that maybe you've neglected because of your addiction, and taking stock of the not so great relationships. And then the last stool is just self-love. It's mental health. So working on getting to a place where being in your mind is a nice place to be, because when we remove the addiction, we're going to feel a hit on our physical health. You're not going to really want to lean into people, but that's when you need solid connections around you. So if you're cultivating relationships around you, they're going to hold you when you fall. And you're also going to be, when we don't have the addiction numbing our brain, you're going to be left with your own thoughts. So it's not about necessarily dealing with the trauma or the addiction. It's about getting all the things in order so that when you remove that pole, it's going to be a bit easier and you're stabilised by these 4 pillars that you've been building up. Right, got quite a few comments, so I'm going to scroll around and see. I'm going to go to the bottom and middle and try and give everyone a fair chance. Congrats on completing the first draft. Thank you. I've been writing it mainly in hyperfocus, so I don't know. I've wrote it pretty fast. I've wrote it in 6 weeks, but yeah, quite happy about it. Janelle, how are you doing? Haven't seen you in a while. You should get some moderators to help filter out the trolls. I've got quite a few moderators. I don't care about the trolls though, because they're actually driving my channel out to the people who need us. So thanks, trolls. Troll away. The only thing I've said to me mods is if people are being mean to other people, then get rid. But I can take it on the chin. Thick skin over here. Right, let's see what else. Yeah, Janelle says the trolls might be here because I have an addiction, but I haven't had the courage to speak out. Yeah, I'm going to tell you about a story. Honestly, I felt, you know, when you do something and then after you think that was not cool. That I had one of them moments. So it was on one of my earlier lives, and there were, I'm not going like say names or anything. But there was a veteran, like an army veteran, and then there was a troll, and then there was somebody who was interested in video games, like old school video games. And there was hardly anyone on the live, about 5 people. And there was a troll who came on, and they were getting really irate and saying some quite crap things towards the veteran. And I got really triggered because I get really I'm quite calm when people go at me, but if somebody goes at somebody else, I get a little bit defensive. So I overreacted. I hold my hands up, and you just can watch it. It was a shambles, if you want. It's one of the earlier ones. And basically, I ended up like getting totally emotionally dysregulated. And the only 2 calm people in the situation wasn't me, the counsellor, certainly wasn't the troll, was the veteran, and was this video game person. And the video game person just totally diffused the situation and said to the person who was the troll, do you prefer Crash Bandicoot or Spyro? And I was like, well, obviously Bandicoot. The veteran was like, Bandicoot. And then the troll said Bandicoot. They went offline. They came back on. They were like, I'm really sorry. I just had to go offline for a second. I'm actually like, I think it was like 2 or 3 days in heroin reduction. And he's like, I'm just losing the plot. I've not slept. Thank you for being so kind. And honestly, it was the most wonderful chat. Everyone was supporting him. It was so nice. And I thought, do you know what it is? Like, you don't know who anyone is. And you say this all the time, you don't know. Like, we always think when you're being horrible to somebody, to think you don't know what they're going through. But actually, if someone's angry, you don't know what they're going through. And sometimes when you feel angry, you just want to shout at the world. So I'm happy to take the hit. I learned my lesson well and truly then. So yeah, troll away and just have a bit of fun at my expense. I don't mind. Foxy, I'm coming off a methadone script on 2 mil. Oh my God. Okay. Any advice? Not used to 2 years, thanks. That is, you're right at the finish line. I've got my best friend did this, and she is happy to help anyone. She's told us if anyone wants some support with methadone, heroin, anything like the harder drugs, because that's not my forte. All addictions the same, but she is the person to ask. So Foxy, if you want some. Oh, I'm off totally 24 month. Did you just say, did I read that wrong? Oh, do you mean you're off H or opiates? Clear that up, Foxy. If you want some support on the 2 mil though, she will get you over the finish line. Absolutely. But clear it up, because I don't know if I'm... Yeah, to what, Foxy? Right, let's see. I'm going to scroll in the middle because I don't want people getting missed out. I'll just scroll and answer. Hi from India. Hello to India. I've got a massive bunch of people from all over the world. I love it. Am I single? No, I'm not. Also, like, right, I'm not single, but also I'm not being funny, but like, I don't think I'd come on YouTube and ask WD-40 to be my husband. Like, these are just a bunch of numbers and letters. So yeah, but I'm not single. I'm happy. Right, Mad Dog. I have PTSD every time my eyes open. Oh, I'm so sorry, Mad Dog. Yeah, if you, like I said, I know somebody who specialises in the somatic stuff of PTSD, which might be a missing link for you. PTSD is fucking shit. It really is. It is. It's really hard because it's a little bit like bipolar. I feel like it's a bit like a silent assassin. You've got to kind of, like, you don't know when it's going to come up, but you know it's going to come up and hard. But it is something you can get through. And Peter Levine and Basil von der Kolk is a good starting point. Try somatic healing, which somatic is just counselling jargon for healing the body. So when we go into fight or flight, which is PTSD, I said this on this morning's live, I broke it down in a bit more detail than what I will now. But we've got 2 alarm systems going off. We've got the one in our heads, which is basically where we produce noradrenaline. And then we've got the one in our body, which is adrenaline, and often we work on the mind, but we need to work on the body as well, because it's 2 different alarm systems and both of them triggers each other. So where I was stuck with my healing was, I thought counselling wasn't working, and it was really demoralising, because I'm like, I'm actually a counsellor. I've got 2 degrees in it, and to be quite frank, it's shit. It's not stopping the PTSD. And then I learned about somatic healing, which is your body, and that was a game changer. It's still as hard and as long and grueling, but as soon as you start to do it, you'll start to see yourself slowly get control of the PTSD. I hope that was helpful. I'm going to scroll around a bit. Thanks for you being here chatting. Or is there more of a comment to that? Or is that just saying thanks? Oh, I have no self-love. My friend told me today. I'm really sorry about that. That is shit. And do you know what it is? Let's be real. Most people on this channel is either in exactly the same boat or have been in the same boat. Because I think self-love is something that we aren't taught. We're taught from children to not like ourselves. We're taught we're taught this idea that I am lovable if. It's called conditional love in counselling. It's I am lovable if I go to school and I do well. I am lovable if I behave. I am lovable if I don't have a tantrum. I am lovable if I go to sleep at the right time, even though I don't want to go to sleep. It's all if. And I think what we need to learn is I am lovable and. So I am lovable if I don't make mistakes. But realistically, we need to get to a place where I am lovable and I make mistakes. I am lovable and I don't always perform to my best. I am lovable and I've messed up and I've had an addiction. I am lovable and I'm knee deep in addiction. Someone's been on before just talking about how much they love the partner and really recognises why they're in addiction. So that is a good sentence to say to yourself. Every time you catch yourself, if anyone's struggling with self-love, get conscious of your thoughts and write them down if you want, or just make mental note. But every time you say something horrible to yourself, reframe it. So if you say, oh my God, if you berate yourself, like I'm lazy, just be like, okay, I'm lovable and I'm lazy. That's okay. Like I put all my energy into something else. Or I'm lovable, and change the negative word. In fact, I'm going to challenge you further. I'm lovable and I just can't be bothered right now. That's okay. Yeah, just try and get conscious of your language. It's called NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming. Are you in a program? No, I didn't get sober through a program. I have created my own program, incidentally, though. But no, I just learned to love myself, guys. I learned to love myself. I am lovable and I'm an addict. And I'm lovable and I'm going to stop being an addict. Right, I'm going to rewind, go back on top of the video for missed content. Oh, sorry. I'm back, sorry. I like a good penny. What's a good penny mean? Hey, Scarfy, I'm not picking up what you're putting down here. I'm rubbish at comments, guys. If it's not like, I'm autistic, so if it's not really literal, I'm not getting it. Are you familiar with the situation going on in Vancouver? Because if so, how do you suggest the government moves forward in stopping homelessness and addiction? I know a little bit about the Vancouver situation, not a great deal. I'm not going to sit here and claim to be an expert. With homelessness and addiction, the war on drugs needs to be changed. It's causing more harm than good. I'm not saying legalise, absolutely not. It just, the problem, right, so we've got a top-down problem and we've got a bottom-up problem. And if I was going to go into policy, I don't know what I would do, but I certainly know that the policy we've got at the moment is harming people. It's misfiring on the people who are actually struggling with addiction, who are the people who need support. So you've got people who are struggling in addiction who are experiencing huge stigma. The war on drugs and the rhetoric around it is making it so everybody is blaming the addict as the individual. And you can literally track this in drug policy across the UK, from when Thatcher came in and changed addiction from a welfarist issue to being an individual issue. Then Tony Blair came in. He made it even worse. He then made really loose links between crime and addicts. It was just a pile of shit, and it was to push a narrative and rhetoric. So first of all, addiction needs to be turned into a welfarist issue, because that'll break down stigma. They're refusing to do it. It's an absolute shambles, and they know that they're doing it wrong because all of the research says it's harmful. So they've employed someone called David Nutt who said it's harmful. They got rid of him. That's just UK policy, but it's reflected in the US as well. It's worse in the US. So first of all, we need to break down stigma, and for that to happen, policy needs to represent people with addiction are struggling, and it's a form of self-medication. So we need to treat people with addiction with dignity and as human beings. Same with homelessness. Somebody who's living a happy, content life isn't going to sit there and say, I know, I'm just going to blow my life up and go live on the streets and be an addict. Like, get real. So yeah, it's a systemic failing. And what's really sad is it's loads of children who slipped through the nets, who have then later went on to addiction, homelessness, and then instead of the same system that failed them as children, picking them up later on and supporting them, they're then blaming them and say, crack on, it's your fault. And instead, I'm just going to embarrass you for being on the streets and having an addiction. So yeah, bottom up, what we can do is, first of all, if we are the addict, I'm probably not speaking to many homeless people now, but if we are an addict and our life's in dire straits, is giving ourselves the grace that the policy and the government aren't. This is not our fault. Nobody who has addiction chose to live a life where addiction is more appealing. Let's be real. So give ourselves grace. Another bottom up is we need to give other people grace with addiction, and that doesn't mean not being boundaried, but it means giving people dignity. Just sitting there, Gabor Mate nailed it on the head. He said, if someone's in addiction, don't say why the addiction. No, he didn't say what's the addiction. He says, why is the addiction? That's not even the quote. Something basically saying like, what got you to here? And yeah, so that's what I would say the answer to that is. But yeah, it's shit. It's shit in Vancouver, and to be quite frank, it's shit everywhere. It's more dire straits. Have I tried Mio, DMT or psilocybin? I've tried DMT. I was instantly sick. I didn't break through. Wouldn't try it again. Don't enjoy being sick. Psilocybin, I've tried mushrooms quite a few times. Did you research it? No, I haven't, although I have read into it quite a bit. And am I familiar? Yep. It is powerful medicine. Yeah, it needs to be done in a trauma setting, I would say, because I've seen mushrooms go both ways with people. But I know people who's quit addiction off it, and I know people who's absolutely lost their mind and got sectioned from it. So, yeah. And to be honest with you, I just had fun on it. I'm not going to lie. Try and pretend I'm in either of those brackets. I was just having a good time. Right, let's see. Have you ever been to the Metro Centre? Yes, I have. Quite a few times. I used to go quite often I don't live too far from it now. Lev, how about cold turkey and discipline? Oh, doesn't sound too healthy. I don't like the word discipline. It's this kind of willpower. So I think we need compassionate accountability. We need, if you're going to be disciplined, we'll use the word discipline because I guess you have to be disciplined. If you're going to be disciplined in drug addiction, like, you're going to have to be a pretty solid human being to do that. Like, it is not for the faint-hearted. So being in the addiction is pretty rough. Like, it's hard fucking core being in addiction. And coming out of addiction is even harder fucking core. It's hard to the core. And to be able to do that, you need more than just discipline. Like, you do need a healthy dose of, like, accountability. You need to hold yourself accountable. Maybe you need other people to hold you accountable. I certainly did. You're gonna have to be disciplined, but crawling out of addiction, you're on your knees. So it's more than just discipline. When you're at your absolute most vulnerable, you've taken however many year battering from addiction, you're going to need a bit more than discipline on your side. That's where self-love comes in, and positive things that you're winning at, like running, like Chris said. Cold turkey, dangerous if you're not doing it with a professional, depending on what you're doing. So benzocaines, alcohol, actually quite fatal, can be fatal just to stop. People have, but also it can be fatal. So we need to have professionals. Certain drugs you're going to have physically addictive, like opiates and stuff. It's going to be hard. So again, I would say professionals. But there's a lot of people who have gone to cold turkey, and I did. But in fact, no, I did actually. I went cold turkey twice. I had drug-induced psychosis one of them times. The second time, I tapered down over a 2-week period. I started going, like, minimising the amount that I was having. So, yeah. That's my thoughts. But I don't want to say to somebody, don't go cold turkey. I'm not discrediting anybody who has. But I would say you need to have healthcare professionals involved. Chris, truth paired with grace is the best medicine for those who are struggling. The truth might hurt, but grace makes the truth feel homey and familiar. Yeah, definitely. That is my motto. I think because anytime we face truth, you're going to have one or two heavy emotions attached to it. So for the facing the truth of what somebody else has done, and we've been avoiding the truth, you're going to be hit with a whole host of emotions, which aren't going to be nice and not for the faint-hearted. And if we're facing truth of ourselves, that's going to be riddled with shame. But I saw something the other day, and I say it was ChatGPT, my busy mate, guys. I was hashing something out with ChatGPT, and he said about something I'm dealing with myself, and he said shame is the dog which guards the door that you're about to open. So whatever door you're about to open, shame's going to be in front of it, and you need to get through the shame first to then be able to take a good inhale and face whatever's behind that door. So yeah, turns out AI is quite intelligent. 4 to go. Heroin, alcohol, benzocaines create a physical dependence. One cannot go cold turkey. It's dangerous. Talk to someone and gradually taper off. Yeah, definitely. It is. And like I say, I didn't realise I had bipolar. So I went cold turkey and I had drug-induced psychosis. Because all of a sudden my brain was used to a chemical, and ketamine's not physically addictive, but I took it out of the mix and my brain was like, whoa, and triggered a psychotic episode. So yeah, it is important. I know somebody who, it was a client, so I'm not going to go into any details. But somebody who was there because the mum used to take a cocktail of alcohol and medications, and they were prescribed medications, and then she just stopped them all one day for some, I can't remember, there was an event on, and she ended up dying from it. So prescription meds can be dangerous as well. Again, I've done it. I went cold turkey on my prescription meds, so like I'm not sitting here shaming people. I'm just laying out facts, because you just don't know who you're gonna be. That's the problem. Lewis Running Channel, what's the best way to stop vaping? I've tried to quit, but find it so difficult, but it makes me dizzy. It makes you dizzy while you vape or when you try to quit? It's two different things. Let us know, Lewis. Shame is a real tough one for me. Grace is the answer. Yeah, I think shame's a horrible emotion. It is. I'm terrified of shame. I face it head on. I face any emotion head on because I've learned that is the best way forward. But I'd say practice small if you're going to start getting acquainted with the less savoury emotions. But yeah, shame's awful. Horrible. I've been working through with ChatGPT some stuff which has been coming up for me. I find AI's been quite helpful for me to hash out my thoughts. And I've had some stuff that came up for us in my hypomanic episode around relationships in my past where I've not acted great and I've done some shit stuff. And I've dealt with one of the relationships, and I've got two other relationships which I've decided I'm going to face head on. I've not thought about them for a few years. I dealt with it head on a few years ago, but I feel like I've been on my healing journey, and I think I could take a look at it now and take some accountability myself, because it was a two-way street. Two people got hurt in these relationships. So I was happy to let them take the blame and work through that, but I feel like I'm ready to take some accountability. And one of them I've dealt with, but it was hard. And the other two I'm bracing myself for. So shame's not an easy thing. And I'm a counsellor and I've dealt with a lot of shame. I've worked through it. I know the drill, and it's still not easy. So yeah, I think we need to cut ourselves some slack. Everybody has a shame debt as well, everyone. And actually, a lot of the stuff that I've held a lot of shame for is stuff that I don't need to. I held a lot of shame about being a mum, and when I've looked at it, I'm like, actually, I was fucking badass me as a mum. Like, I was shaming myself for the stuff I shamed myself for. Actually, is the stuff that now I've worked through it, I'm really proud of. So sometimes shame we can tackle it and you'll find, actually, I don't even need to have that shame. I can let it go. Foxy, I don't trust AI. I kind of think it's a bit benign, me, personally, but I don't like to get too involved in stuff because I've had psychosis. I try to be careful with the rabbit holes I go down, and AI is one that I don't want to start looking into. But I feel like it's quite benign. Paul Rusko. Let's find Paul Rusko's comment, because we've got my mods commenting. Paul Rusko, where are you? Just see, Michael, what's your channel about? It's about addiction and mental health. Because they're both the same thing. Right, let's see. Oh, sorry, I'm just trying to find, I forgot who that person is. It's me ADHD. I'll go back to the bottom and find the name. Foxy's saying Dr. Andrew Prolux. Understanding and Helping an Addict is a good book. Yeah, everyone check that out. I haven't read it, so I'll have a little look. Right, who's this person? Because I forgot the name now. Oh, God. I've lost the person who one of me mods has been replying to. Oh, hi, Chris Warrior for Jesus. I didn't even know you were here. Hello, you've been lost in the comments. If you haven't gone, hi and bye. Sorry about that. I feel bad because you've... Oh, Chris has been commenting as well. I just didn't see you there. Thanks for moderating if you're still here. Right, I've lost that comment. The person who we mods are answering now, could you send us another comment and I'll stay near the bottom so I can see it again? Right. Oh, Monster Jump. Addiction support, recovery advice, shared experience. Oh yeah, seeing what this is about. Yeah, that's in a nutshell. That is what I'm doing here. Right. Oh, it's sorry, I'm getting a bit stuck here, guys, because I'm trying to find someone. Paul Rusco, talk to your doctor and taper off Pericot slowly, not suddenly. Get support around you. And if withdrawal feels too strong, reach out for medical help right away. Yeah, I don't know what you've said. I don't even know what that is. Is that an opiate? Like a prescription opiate? For to go. But yeah, taper off things slowly. That's what I did with ketamine. And it's... We can reduce things in loads of different ways and try and get a bit of control. But I'd absolutely say get a professional involved. They're trained to do this. And I think I was so scared about reaching out to professionals, especially, look, I was a professional, so I felt like my career was on the line. I felt like my reputation, and I was so scared to reach out for support. And it was just a load of bullshit I was telling myself. Like, people who are in addiction services will know how to help you. And if you don't like someone, you're not picking up what they're putting down, aka you don't have good rapport, you can always request someone else. But absolutely go with professionals. Perk or set, Monster Jump is saying. Hi, Monster Jump, there you are. I just saw so you were getting... Someone was answering your question. Perk or set. So is that a... opiate then, because I know there's loads of opiates I don't know the name of. Scarphilia, I'm combination ADHD, full 9 markers. It's a bigger hell than addiction. Yeah, it's a tough one. But I manage it better without coke in my life, yeah. I'm super hyper now. I've stayed off the I don't know, is that a different name for... It's basically an ADHD med. I was on Ritalin and I tried Elvance Adult. Testing for DCD. What's DCD? So I'm not a psychiatrist, so I don't know all this, all the DSM got jargon. But I just know some from the field I work in. Right, so... Yeah, I'm ADHD and I'm about to get my autistic test results in. I think I've passed with flying colours. Yeah, and bipolar, just riddled. But ADHD, it's a funny one. I think the more I try and fight the ADHD, the worse it is. And the more I accept I've got ADHD, the more it chills out. It's a weird one. Drugs definitely didn't help though. 100% did not help the situation. It's a non-stimulant. Ah, right. A non-stimulant for ADHD. I use my ADHD, my superpower, super skilled. Yeah, that's the thing. I've just managed recently, I'd say in the last, like in 2025, the back end of it, even managed to manage my bipolar, and it now feels like a superpower. ADHD and bipolar together managed is quite a lethal combination. I wrote a full book in 6 weeks, and I've had quite a few weeks gaps in that as well, so it can be really good, but you just... as much good as there is, there's as much difficulties. It is swings and roundabouts. Has anybody on the channel got ADHD or bipolar? Let's see if anyone can relate. Right, I'm going to scroll about. Germando, hey, I'm new here. Hi all, I'm a wellbeing ambassador at my place of work. It's a difficult job and still so underestimated. There's people I know who need help but won't admit it themselves. Yeah, I've been that one. I was literally being a counsellor, helping other people, like as an addict, like, and I've worked with a counsellor. And then at the end of it, they said something about themselves, and I thought, we're all just fucking. It's the blind leading the blind in this joint on planet Earth. It is so many. It's so hard to admit for help, but as soon as we start speaking out and saying, I need a bit of support, you'll find one, people come to aid, and two, everybody's got their own shit or been through shit. Right, I'm getting really tired. So I'm gonna go soon. I'm gonna answer 2 questions. So I've got someone saying nose ring and trauma, medical talk equals red flag. I'm a walking red flag. I've waved many a red flag. Then I waved the white flag, surrender. Yeah. Well, I can't be bothered to, like, I'm not gonna get in a battle with people about if I'm qualified or not again. Right. Lewis running channel, big congrats on even thinking about stopping. You're already halfway there. Make sure you surround yourself with the right people as well. So is Lewis running channel. Would you like some support, Lewis running channel? I'm thinking about doing as well something with Strava for addiction. So Lewis, if you want some support, just comment on any of my content. You can just say email us or support group. If you don't want to leave anything on me lives, just say email us. I'll get a notification because I'm about to do a free support group, and I assume if you've got a running channel, you're into running. So me and one of me mods are coming up with a thing around Strava, which you might be the right person for. As a musician, I tell people I have manic self-esteem. Yes, I like that. Everyone could do with a bit of manic self-esteem. Sometimes I feel really comfortable on stage and other times awful. Someone asked us today, do I get nervous about coming on here? And I was like, no. But the one time I did, I realised that actually I totally fucked up. I started going into fight or flight because no one was commenting. And I could see I was going, oh, just get off, run. Like, just sign off, you don't owe anyone anything. And then I clocked myself, I was like, whoa, going into fight or flight, Ash. Just stop, breathe. And then I just named it. I was like, I went in fight or flight there, guys. So, talked about fight or flight, and I just realised, do you know what it is? It doesn't really matter, does it? We'll always get through a fuck up. But yeah, I love it. Manic self-esteem. I've got the same. When I felt hopeless and helpless for years, believing in a higher power, God's grace helped me tremendously. Eternally secure rocker. Yeah, I'm really spiritual. I do have to say, I'm never going to push faith onto people. And I know plenty of people who's got through addiction without any kind of belief in a higher power, but it definitely helped me. It was the feeling like everything happens for a reason. And I feel like we can create that feeling anyway, because there may or may not be a higher power. But if you can sit there and say, right, I'm going to get out of this and I'm going to make this mean something, like, that can be really motivating. I'm not going to let this be the end of my story. This is going to be the beginning of my story. And it can be super motivating. I'm so tired though, so I'm going to go. If anybody has made a comment that I haven't got through, please just comment on any of my content and I'll pick it up and answer, because I can do that a little bit easier than the comments on the lives. Right, anyways, I'm gonna let yous go, and it was lush speaking to yous all. Thanks for everyone who's joined. Yeah, Lewis, see you next time. And yeah, if you want to be involved in the Strava, let us know if you want to be one of the Strava members. And also if you're interested in addiction support, let us know as well. I'm going to leave on one comment, and that's going to be Kath. At the end of the day, you can only help yourself. Yeah. And part of that, I'm going to layer on to that. Part of that might be helping yourself by saying, right, I'm going to go and I'm going to accept that right now I'm struggling by myself. So I'm going to be the person who goes and asks for support. But ultimately, it starts with you. It has to. It starts with us. It ends with us. And that is the top and bottom of it. Couldn't say it better myself. Right. Oh, I'm going to end on Eternally Secure Rock that because it's positive. There is hope, and don't forget to listen to some good music. Yes, good music is the way forward, guys. 100%. I'm going to go listen to some now. Have a little dance. Right. See you later. Bye.